Well, good morning. Thanks to Red Cloud for hosting. A pleasure to be here today. I'm Alastair Still, CEO of GoldMining. I would like to update a couple of our activities and why GoldMining is such a compelling investment opportunity. We have the ticker symbol GOLD on the TSX and have a dual listing now in the States with GLDG on the NYSE American. I'll be making some forward-looking statements. You can review those at your leisure. But really want to get into why GoldMining is such a compelling investment opportunity. And it's really because we have a very unique combination of a very sizable resource base entirely in the Americas and a super strong balance sheet that has been strengthened and shored up by a couple of recent divestitures from our portfolio, which we've put into separate public companies. So as it stands right now, we have about $160 million on the balance sheet. That's rather unique for juniors in this market. That's consisting of cash and equity holdings. The two principal equity holdings we have are US GoldMining Inc., a company we created earlier this year, launched on the NASDAQ. Our company owns about 80% of that company. And about 2 years ago, we launched a new company called Gold Royalty Corporation, which we own about 15% in, and that's trading on the NYSE American. So good, solid, liquid trading stocks that we own significant stakes in, combined with cash and other equities of about $20 million, give us a strong balance sheet. That combined with a resource base entirely in the Americas of some 13.4 million ounces on the gold equivalent basis, and just under 10 million ounces inferred gold equivalent ounces, really is a unique combination that has us set up with extreme leverage to the gold price. The balance sheet gives us flexibility to move forward our own projects and the financing that we need for that. And we've been able to create value for our shareholders with minimal share dilution. A quick snapshot of the company itself. Issued and outstanding shares is just under 177 million, fully diluted about 190 million. What I would point out on this slide is that we are debt-free. We have no debt. And trading on the two exchanges, it trades about 5 times the volume on New York as it does in Toronto, but provides good liquidity. We've got 3 analysts covering the stock, and you can review their reports and see their views as well. Backing the team up is an experienced leadership team. I joined the company about 3 years ago after working almost 25 years for major operators, Goldcorp, Newmont, Kinross, Placer Dome, at various operating sites, mine building in South America, and corporate development. So I saw this portfolio of assets as an opportunity to develop them, move them forward. In doing so, I was able to attract Tim Smith to the team last year. Tim left a job at Newmont as the Director of North American Exploration. He saw value in our portfolio, wanted to come work with it. So it's great when you can bring in experienced explorationists from the largest gold mining company in the world to come work for you. And earlier this year, we also brought in David Garofalo as our co-chairman. I worked a number of years with David when he was CEO of Goldcorp. Prior to that, he was CEO of Hudbay and CFO of Agnico Eagle. So some great industry experience backing our team up as well. But really, the investment hypothesis is really quite simple, and that is if you look at the enterprise value of the company, it's currently trading at about its enterprise value. Canadian market cap is about $190 million. We have over $160 million in cash and equity holdings. So simple math, that means that the 23 million ounces gold equivalent we have on resources really comes at a cost of about $1 or $2 per ounce. So it gives you a great option on gold at a very minimal cost, very low cost basis. So I almost look at it as a free option on gold with a very sizable balance sheet to back it. So where are our projects? We are entirely in the Americas, 5 countries, Canada, US, Brazil, Colombia, and 1 project in Peru. Over 80% of the commodity exposure is to gold. There's significant components of copper occurring with gold at a number of our projects. There's also a little bit of silver as well. Would like to highlight a couple of our projects, and we do have 8 projects, each over 1 million gold equivalent ounces. So there is some size to all of our projects. We're getting a little bit of connectivity issue there. But the U.S. GoldMining was created earlier this year. We launched an IPO on our asset, and we were able to raise $20 million on the NYS or on the NASDAQ for drilling and advancing a project which hadn't been touched in over 10 years. We'd acquired the project in 2016, a downturn in the market when copper was underappreciated, and I saw a lot of exploration opportunity here. It's a large gold-copper porphyry system, actually occurring with a cluster, we believe, of gold-copper porphyries, and it's the largest resource in Alaska closest to Anchorage. We're only about 100 miles from Anchorage, and one of the key attributes of the project is that it is on 100% state land. That's a key differentiator in the state. A number of projects in Alaska have run into challenges, and that's often due to disjointed land ownership between native corporations, BLM, state land. Emphasize that our 50,000-acre property is entirely on state land. Just going into the resources a little bit themselves, and this image actually here was taken this summer as we reactivated the project. We had great support from the state of Alaska. There's the governor. He came out to visit us in our second month of operations, so we're showing good support. I would say that from a permitting perspective, it's one of the best jurisdictions I've ever worked in, and I've worked across the Americas. We submitted an exploration permit, and including a 30-month public window for consultation, we had a 5-year exploration permit within 3 months. So that let us get boots on the ground very quickly, let us get our camp reactivated, and we got drilling this summer. We're currently drilling now, and we'll drill till probably about the end of the month. Then we'll take a break over the peak of winter and Christmas, New Year's area. Previous operators have drilled on this property year-round. It's low elevation. It's only about 800 meters, so it can be drilled year-round. Really quite favorable for development and drilling. I'll get into a little bit on the exploration and potential, but what I would focus on the resource that's shown here. This is the resource category here, and we can see that in the deposit there's about 3 million gold equivalent ounces indicated, and about 6.5 million in the inferred category. Through the tools of Verify, we can go into a 3D image of the deposit, and really helps explain the story a little better. This is the total land package. It's about 50,000 acres in size, and again, emphasizing all on state land. We have pretty modest relief on the project. We have 3 resources that we report. We have Island Mountain to the south, and we have Whistler and Raintree to the north. That's really the center of our attention. That's where we're going to focus today, just to show you. And I'll zoom in on those deposits, and you can get a sense for the terrain. You can see it's rather modest relief. No obstacles for building, no lakes, no mountain peaks, no glaciers. We have an established camp there, which we're drilling from now. We have an airstrip. We can drive to the drill site, which is nice. We don't need helicopter support, and not dependent on weather for that. And we can see the Whistler and Raintree deposits, which are in our resource right now. And the cluster of stars around it, really we call the Whistler orbit. That's a cluster of gold and copper porphyries that are not yet in resources but remain exploration targets, and that's one of the areas we're targeting this year. But if we zoom in on Whistler itself and we take a shot underground here, we look at, these are the pit shells that constrain the resource right now. Whistler's on the left, Raintree's on the right. You can see the extent of the previous drilling that's taken place here. We see gold. We can bring on copper onto those drill holes and show that the two are coincident together. We have chalcopyrite and boronite occurring with the main gold mineralization. And if we look at the resource model, what I would like to emphasize here is that the proximity of the two deposits, they're less than 1 kilometer apart, but it's like a classic porphyry. It's a very concentric zone of mineralization, and it's zoned with a high-grade core. Good continuous widths of mineralization. And also, I think, important to point out, there is exploration potential at depth. There's a small component of the resource which is an underground beneath the Raintree, and that's a future target for developing further as we continue with our drilling. But what I would like to also show on the deposit, if we zoom in on it a little closer, peel it away, we look at the inferreds, we look at the indicated, and if we raise up the cutoff grade to about $20 per ton, we can see a concentric higher grade core in the deposit. And we show this as a sensitivity in our technical report. These are grades above half a gram in orange, above a gram in red. We go even higher grade, showing the blocks above a gram. You can see the core of this deposit as high grade holds together very nicely. And there's about 6 million ounces at approximately a gram per ton gold equivalent in a concentric higher grade core. That's one of the key areas that we're targeting with drilling right now, and also targeting expansion in the district with trying to find additional porphyry centers. So excited about our progress at Whistler through our 80% stake in U.S. GoldMining. Would also highlight our project in Colombia, our La Mina project. This is a project we drilled in 2022. We made a new discovery at La Garrucha. La Garrucha added a third porphyry center to the existing resources at Middle Zone and La Cantera. We added over 1 million ounces to our resource statement. We did that at a cost very efficiently between $1 to $2 per ounce. So a great discovery cost, added value to the project, which we put into a PEA study and we released earlier this year. Good solid economics for a first pass PEA, showed an NAV of approximately $279 million. That was including about 1.74 million gold equivalent ounces. I like to refer to this as the right-sized gold copper porphyry system for a good-sized company to build. It's not high Andes, it's not multi-billion dollars capital to build it, and it's got a good solid grade of just over 1 gram per ton gold equivalent, which for a gold copper porphyry system is a higher grade system compared to many of the larger higher Andean systems. So a project we continue to explore and look for new drilling targets to expand that resource, and we'll do further work to refine and update that PEA study. The last project I would like to highlight is our San Jorge project in Brazil, and this is an emerging district in Pará State, led by the activities by GoldMining, who have been developing the Tocantinzinho project, which they'd acquired from Eldorado. That project is advancing very well to construction. Further along trend from them is Cabral's Cuyo Cuyo project, and the blocks I've shown in red here is our San Jorge project. It's a large regional land package which occurs at the southeast end of a trend that's really occurring over a couple of 100 kilometers now, which we estimate some 30 million ounces have been mined by illegal miners over the past 40 or 50 years. The advantages that our project has that even Tocantinzinho doesn't have is that we're located right adjacent to the main state paved highway. It gives us great infrastructure to the project, and the power line that Tocantinzinho has just built follows that same highway corridor, so we have road access and power line access. Makes it certainly an attractive area, and an area that's attracting attention of some bigger companies. Franco-Nevada have recently invested about $350 million into GoldMining to see this thing built, and GoldMining are making good progress on that construction. The resource itself at San Jorge is a good solid open pit resource, over a gram per ton. It's about 50-50 measured, indicated, and inferred. There has been a good portion of historical drilling, but it's been very concentric over the center of the deposit on a strike length of about 1.4 kilometers. What we see beyond that is an extension of that same structure extending for several kilometers to the southeast and also open to the northwest as well. Our team right now is looking at refining and identifying additional drill targets to expand the resource, as well as looking for a potential parallel structure just to the south of it. So we'll be announcing some exploration plans for San Jorge in the coming months. On top of these activities, we have a strong commitment to sustainability. We just released our inaugural sustainability report just yesterday. We have brought in a VP for sustainability to guide us in our projects. Certainly we recognize in Alaska that early stakeholder engagement is critical to avoid some of the challenges that other projects have experienced there, and certainly a big part of what we do, working with our communities, doing things in a safe and sustainable manner. So, a quick summary for the company. It really is a rather unique combination of a significant balance sheet combined with a large and diverse portfolio of gold-based assets in the Americas. That robust balance sheet gives us flexibility to fund our projects and minimize dilution. We have taken on partners for our projects. We had a project in Idaho. Our Almaden project is about 45 kilometers from Hercules Silver. We optioned that last year to Nev Gold. Nev Gold have been drilling that and have expanded the resource And right now we own about 22% of that company, so stand to benefit from the upside on that company as well. So a strong balance sheet, a good portfolio of resource projects in the Americas with an experienced management team to build them and advance them makes for an excellent investment opportunity. Thank you.